What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Big Country, and we're returning to No Place Like Home, 1991. Thank you, as always, to Wayne, as well as Tim and Han Solo and others who've been following this Big Country journey. And the next tune in the playlist, make sure I have this right, yeah, The Hostage Speaks. It's a very specific phrase, and yet I am inclined to interpret it figuratively or metaphorically. I suppose it could be a literal hostage situation, but I expect it to perhaps be projected onto a larger scale, even if the concept at its core is a very visual reference. And when a hostage speaks, I suppose it's fair to say there's often a question of how authentic what they're saying may be. Are they being forced or compelled to say something, whether something positive about the hostage holders, or denouncing the milieu or matrix they originally come from in ways that perhaps serve the purposes of the abductors. So yeah, I feel like any of that could be very figuratively meaningful on a larger scale, an international scale. It does seem, again, like the last two albums, the previous album and the beginning of this one, have been speaking to a lot of geopolitical, socio-cultural, international type of themes, so I wouldn't be surprised if this title phrase runs in that direction as well. I'll see what I can catch on a first hearing. This is Big Country, the track is The Hostage Speaks, and it's from the 1991 album No Place Like Home.
As
guitar layer is just wailing as it does a very gradual fade, which, again, if you know my channel, you know I have different feelings about fade outs. I've grown more sympathetic since I started doing reactions, and a gradual one I can get behind much more than a cliff drop off, very rapid fade out. But yes, it is always a bit of a lament when either a vocal or, as in the case here, a particular instrument is really flourishing and soloing as the track is getting quieter. But yeah, that's one of my favorites from them, and I won't even qualify by saying, you know, on this album or of their more evolved sound of the last couple albums. That's just a brilliant tune. And though I didn't hear all the lines clearly, number one, he's addressing a lot of different things, and it is definitely on bigger, larger scales, but also right down to the human, emotional, and moral scale as well. And secondarily, I mean, the lines I did hear, you know, if you put Greg Graffin's voice to it, it could be a Bad Religion song. And I don't know if people here listen to punk rock or, you know, even more specifically Bad Religion, but that's one of the highest compliments I personally can give when it comes to lyrical matters, in the sense that I think Bad Religion writes some of the most amazing lyrics I've ever encountered in my musical life. So when I say that, again, I hope the full weight of my meaning is understood. But yes, I mean, it's talking about socioeconomic disparities, the ghetto. It's talking about heavy-handed, authoritarian, militaristic governmental and societal control. It's talking about the firing of missiles and jet planes in imperialistic and destructive geopolitical conflicts. It's talking about corporate media and sponsors influencing what is said and what passes as news and information and what society, the populace, is allowed to know. It's talking about politicians cynically talking about setting people free when in fact they are more accurately binding people and putting them in handcuffs and limiting their opportunities and abilities to understand their possibilities for making communities and connections that might transcend the status quo or the lines of, again, national, cultural, and economic division. And it sounds like the narrator is saying he wants to be as far away from all those strictures and imposed forces that he can be. So yeah, it's this idea that this world we live in, you know, we've inherited it, and a lot of it is completely undesirable, unfair, unjust, brutal, violent, and to be condemned. And because of the way these things are manifested and because of the way they're carried on by powers that be internationally, also in specific countries and specific regions and societies, it's hard to overturn them. It's hard to even resist them or create alternatives that go in different directions than them. So yeah, there's probably some details here I'm missing, maybe some specific references that I didn't pick up on a first listen, but it has a very punk rock ethos, but also a very emotional heart at the center of it. This idea that, you know, those of us who just want to get by and be decent and enjoy music and art and community and the more benign aspects of life, it's tough for us because the world doesn't make it easy for people who don't fall in line, who don't conform to these long-standing and imposed strictures. So again, as someone who loves punk rock, all of that is very up my alley, so to speak. And yes, I enjoy the sonics. I think Stewart sounds great on the vocals. You know, not absolutely crazy, but pushing it in some certain moments, which conveys the intensity of feeling and perspective quite well. Again, layered guitars. There was a moment in the middle where I was like, I'm hearing some keyboards, right? I was less sure about it a moment later, but I think maybe there's some keys in there too, but definitely some layered guitars and just a really sweeping atmosphere, which again speaks to the scale and the wide perception of the tune, but again, also right down to the individual human level. So yeah, a stunning tune, a masterpiece. I very much enjoyed this one. I'm loving this album as well as just charting the evolution of the big country sound. So as I said, shout out to Wayne for this album. Do let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.